Hello BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing the Istanbul BookTube Tag. This tag is the creation of Jim of Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff, and he kindly tagged me to do this. Hopefully this is not the last book tag that Jim creates. Jim has created some wonderful book tags over the years, and it will be a shame if this is the last one. Book tags are some of my favorite things to do here on BookTube, and while book tags aren't as popular over the last few months as they had been in the past, hopefully book tags make a comeback. So let's get going. Prompt number 1. Istanbul has many names. Which do you prefer? So over the millennia, Istanbul has had 3 names: Byzantine or Byzantium, Constantinople, and Istanbul. Of the 3, I am partial to Byzantium and Istanbul, and my least favorite is Constantinople. Prompt number 2. Orhan Pamuk won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2006. Have you read any books by an author because they won the Nobel Prize in Literature? Well, speaking of Orhan Pamuk, yes, I have. I picked up the Black Book, not this exact copy, but a copy of the Black Book by Orhan Pamuk shortly after he won the Nobel Prize in Literature, although it took me nearly 20 years to finally get around to finishing it. So yeah. So Orhan Pamuk, I bought the Black Book shortly after he won. The same is true of Gunter Grass with The Rat. Wislawa Szymborska with View with a Grain of Sand, which is one of my favorite poetry collections, and also the work of Louise Gluck, and several others. I could have pulled out Gao Xingjiang, Nadine Gordimer, George Seferis, so on and so forth. Prompt number 3. Have you ever visited Istanbul? Sadly, I've never visited Istanbul. I've never left the continental United States. And for the most part, I've never left the state of Texas. I would love to travel, but I don't have the resources. And traveling, I think, is a bit more difficult now than it had been in the past. So I will likely never visit Istanbul. Prompt number 4. Have you read a book set wholly or partially in Istanbul? Or have you seen a film set in Istanbul? Well, I have read the Black Book. It took me a very long time to do so, but I did finally read it about a month ago, and I liked it. I thought the ending was a bit disappointing, but the novel is set wholly in Istanbul. And it is a very atmospheric take on Istanbul. I've also read From Russia with Love by Ian Fleming, which is set partially in Istanbul. And I've seen the film version, the film adaptation From Russia with Love as the second James Bond movie. It's one of my favorites. I've also seen The World Is Not Enough, which has the climax set in Istanbul. I think that's it. Outside of Istanbul by Bettany Hughes, which is a history of, of the city. Prompt number 5. Have you read a book that mentioned the Armenian Genocide? Yes, I have read The Fall of the Ottomans, The Great War in the Middle East, 1914 to 1920 by Eugene Rogan, which does go into some detail about the Armenian Genocide, as well as the overall sort of Ottoman Empire in World War I and the after effects of the deposition of the Ottomans. So that was the Istanbul BookTube tag. If you would like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged, and let's try to keep book tags alive here on BookTube. So tomorrow will be weekly reads, although it might be an early weekly reads because the book I'm currently reading I should finish today, and so I could probably do an early one, although I don't know quite what I'm going to do on Friday. So yeah, so there's a lot of options. The end of January is going to be interesting. So the options for what I'll be reading next week might be quite long, and see what exactly I pick. But anyway, BookTube, I'll sign off for now. So thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.